You are tuned into Mostly Humans. The opinions and views shared by the hosts of this podcast are uniquely their own and do not reflect the view or opinions of the companies they work for. P.S. Don't sue or fire us. Thanks so much. Now let's get into the episode.
I'm sorry. You ask Alexa or something to play a song and it plays the complete opposite song, and it's always the worst possible song it could play. It's some like obscure, weird thing, and your friends are all like, why did you put this on? And it's like, no, you don't understand. It didn't understand me. It played the wrong song. And then, you're in this embarrassing situation. Welcome back to Mostly Humans. I am one of your hosts, Justin Wright. I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Bigelow. Matt, we have Snowmageddon coming, at least for when we're recording right now. I don't know if that's going to hit you, but it seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, who knows when this podcast will come out, but hopefully you've thought out and you've made your way out of your house, but you might be locked in there for a couple weeks because Snowmageddon is, if it's coming down to me in the RTP area in North Carolina, like they're saying we're going to get buried, it's game over in Boston.
It's so funny. It's like watching at a casino, just the numbers fluctuating up and down all over the place because they said we're going to get a foot and then it's 2 feet and then it might be 3 feet and then maybe a foot and a half and then 4 feet or whatever. And I don't know what the actual number is, but all of them are bad. And it's not as bad as, I don't know if you saw this. There was a video floating around on the internet that was not AI generated recently of a village in Russia that had snowfall that was like the height of buildings in the town, which is kind of crazy. And so I think of the snow that we're getting, and then I can't imagine living in a place where there is a non-zero chance that snowfall is as tall as buildings.
I actually just didn't even know that was possible. Is that like accumulation over time because it's never melting and thawing out, or could that happen all at once?
I don't believe it happened all at once.
Okay.
At least I would certainly hope not. I cannot say for sure. But it's like the snow accumulation in this village is this. They had a snow pile next to, and it's not like a home. It was like a multi-story building where the snow accumulation was the size of the building. And they had a video of a guy in this village opening up a window on like the third floor and swan diving into the snow, jumping out of his window. That's how high the snow pile was.
I have a question about something you said there. It's an insecurity that I've had for a really long time. And what better place to talk about my vulnerabilities than with a friend and also in front of potentially thousands of people?
Of course.
You
Perfect.
said non-zero chance. And I feel like I've been hearing people say that for like the last 2 years, but I feel like I never heard that before. Did I just become aware to the fact that people say that? Or is that a new phrase? And where did it come from, if you know?
Actually, a very good question. I don't believe it's a new phrase, and I also don't know why I say it. I say it because I spend time in engineering circles, and it's a very engineering type of term. Like, you don't want to say, oh, there's a chance. It's probability speak. I mean, we talk about AI and how AI is non-deterministic and all this stuff. So the engineers I talk to all the time say non-zero chance for things to imply something that is not necessarily highly likely, but something that could happen. And I don't know if it has become part of the broader cultural conversation and nobody noticed or where it came from. I have no idea.
I feel like I just started hearing it, but like a couple years ago, as I normally am, when I start to hear cool phrases, I think people sound very cool when they say it. I get like really insecure and scared to use such phrases because I'm like, what if I use it incorrectly here? So there's been a couple times where I was about to go for it. And then I was like, there's a possibility.
That's the perfect time for it. That's the perfect moment.
I know, but like in the back of my mind, in like a split second, I'll go through all the ways I could potentially embarrass myself by saying it the wrong time because I didn't fully understand it. But you've helped me understand. It basically means the exact same as saying it's possible.
Yes. And since we're really good at awesome segues into our podcast topic, there is a non-zero chance that I don't type anything the next time I am vibe coding something. And the reason for that is the subject of discussion today, which is Whisperflow, which is a tool that we mentioned on a previous recording. And I know you've been trying it. I'd love to hear now that you are using it more heavily, what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So bravo to Whisperflow and to you for telling me about this product. So For those who hear about this, you guys are probably thinking this is some cool agentic thing. And what are we going to learn about today? What kind of crazy demo are we going to see today? You are going to see a demo today. But when I tell you what it is, you're going to be like, wah, wah. And that's the way I felt when Justin told me about it. He's like, I got this great tool. I'm like, oh, what is it? Like, what's it going to do for me? He's like, it's dictation. And then you hear crickets. Cricket, cricket, cricket. And I remember when the Siri ads came out in 2011 on TV, and there's a little kid in the window. He's like, hey, Siri, is it going to rain today? Like, dictation's been around forever. But what Justin pointed out to me is very accurate, which is, yeah, but doesn't it stink? I was like, yeah, you know what? It does kind of stink.
Exactly. The reason there's crickets is because it's not good, and you knew it wasn't good, and so you had reservations. There was a non-zero chance that I was saying something crazy. See, another use of the phrase.
Even when you said it there, like, I have to think about it. I'll never be good at using that phrase because I know it means that there is a chance, but my brain just can't accept that. I'm like, okay, non-zero, I carry the 4. Okay. So anyhow, Whisperflow is using AI to use dictation the way you would always want to. Just like the littlest things. If it makes logical sense that you're listing a series or a sequence of events, it'll automatically put it in bullet form for you. Or list it as 1, 2, 3, 4. If you say 1, 2, 3, 4, it will indent, do a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and do it in a nice, clean way. If you have some reservations about the thing that you said you want to kind of undo it, you go, actually, forget about that. Say this instead. It knows that actually forget about that. Say this instead means delete the things I said before and do it now. And when you start to use dictation in a way where it actually works, you realize how silly typing is. It is like truly silly. And I'm getting better. I think it's hard to make it part of your workflow, like anything in the beginning. But my goodness, like all I do all day long is I have Claude open. I have my company's product open. I have Gemini open. I have ChatGPT open. I'm using all of these tools and I'm just prompting all the time. And I could prompt even more and get more done if I'm using Whisper. And not only that, it helps my prompts look better because we all know that AI responds really well to them. Good formatting. AI likes bolding, right? It likes neat and tidy lists. You get better outputs. So thank you for telling me about it. And I'm excited to just share this little life hack with people.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing that I've noticed in some instances, so I use it for a variety of different things. And depending on where I'm using it, sometimes I find that my brain is still processing ideas at the speed of typing. I don't know if you've encountered this in places, right? So context is if I'm doing prompting or whatever, I have it like tied to my function key on my keyboard. I just hold that down. I talk into my mic and we're good. But a lot of times when I'm creating specs for applications or software, I realize that the typing is part of my thought process of navigating how I want to build what I want to build. And sometimes I'm whisper flowing and it's too fast. My brain isn't operating at that speed yet. So I'm training myself to get more used to these dictation tools because they are that much faster and that much more powerful.
I think the biggest reason that people should give it a chance is I believe that we have fatigue from typing. And as I've started to use Flow more, I feel like I'm willing to do more at work. I really believe that. I don't think there's too many people in the world that would consider me a lazy person, kind of like wired to go. But even sometimes like when I'm like doing something agentic or even writing a message to a colleague or whatever, like I just take a shortcut because I'm just like, I kind of don't want to type that whole thing. So maybe I just say it in a more brief way, but a little bit more detail could have been super meaningful, right? And I have found that I think I'm prompting better. I think I'm communicating better with my colleagues because it's fast and it's easy and it's kind of delightful. It's not perfect, but it's darn close. And when it does exactly what you want it to do, you're like, gosh, that was good.
It's so good. Early on when I started using it, I would, talk and then I would read back because again, the caveat here is we are all used to subpar dictation experiences on our devices today with things like Siri, with things like Alexa, where it's like, I'm sorry. Or the favorite is you ask Alexa or something to play a song and it plays the complete opposite song and it's always the worst possible song it could play. It's some like obscure, weird thing. And your friends are all like, why did you put this on? And it's like, no, you don't understand. It didn't understand me. It played the wrong song. And then, you're in this embarrassing situation. And so we're all used to that experience. And so when I first started using it, I would, speak a bunch of stuff and I would go back and proofread because I'm like, oh, I want to make sure that it's the right thing. And I was consistently blown away by how accurate it was, even just down to spellings of words and how structured what I was describing. Everything just looks good. And I found myself being really impressed by how it didn't make mistakes. What I was looking at and reading back was exactly what I had meant to say when I was dictating whatever it was I was doing. And I found that to be my consistent experience versus other tools in the past that have left me wanting more, to say the least.
How did you find out about this tool?
So my Twitter or X feed, I still don't like calling it X, but my Twitter feed in protest, my Twitter feed is all just Claude code and vibe coding and engineering right now. It's everybody's like every other day, somebody's got a new tool that works really well or some new package of commands and whatever. And so it's cool. It's actually, I think the internet right now, the energy and the excitement is very palpable for people who are actually building things with this stuff now. But I found consistently that engineers were talking about using dictation in some of their workflows to speed up idea generation and whatever. And then I actually talked to a couple other engineers at my company, and they said something that I did a double take at, and I asked them to repeat what they said, because one of them goes, I literally never type anymore. And I said, well, what do you mean you don't type anymore? And he goes, no, I sit at home and I talk to my computer and I go, for engineering work? And he's like, yeah, I write code and I do not type anymore. And I had to learn how that was possible because I couldn't imagine a world in which you could actually dictate and write software. And then they showed me more of how they use it, and I was hooked.
Well, I'm really happy you brought it up to me. So just for the listeners, Justin was just sharing a helpful tidbit with me. He's like, you got to check this out. And I was so smitten with it once I started using it that we realized we need to do a show on this. Without any further ado, for those who are on YouTube, we are going to show you. And for those who are not watching on YouTube, we're going to just talk about what's happening on the screen. Okay, cool. So what you're looking at here is Whisperflow. I don't have the paid version right now. And it is a desktop application, but it is like speaking with the web and using AI. A couple of things. Everything that you say to it, it will store down here. So keep that in mind. I believe in the settings, you probably can turn that off, but it's actually quite helpful to have that. But, don't say that you hate your boss, things of that nature. So you want to be careful with that. So that's an important caveat for people.
The good news is you can delete things from there. So if you do accidentally say that you hate your boss, then you can delete it.
Yes, as you can see here, don't ask why HVAC and HVAC customer support skill and all that stuff is in here. That's my little secret, everybody. Okay. But yeah, I said HVAC a lot today into Whisperflow. But it's
I wasn't going to judge you, but I noticed that you were saying the same phrase over and over again on your screen for anybody who's not watching.
Why was this guy saying HVAC at 1:53 p.m.? That's for me to know. Okay. But you don't have to use this application, everyone. You're not in here to use Whisperflow. So I'm going to show you just a quick example right now. So you said you're using the function. My personal key I'm using is control. And what I'm doing is I'm holding down the control key. So, hey, everybody, this is Matt using Whisper. There we go. And this is me using Whisper now. Click into the Google Doc. Boom. You guys see how that is? So Justin, here's some ideas for the pod. 1, I think we should talk about this. 2, I think we should talk about that. And 3, we should definitely talk about that other thing. So do you guys see how that worked there?
Wow, look at that list.
Yeah, it's really nice. And what I'm doing is I'm holding down the control key, but you can just have a hotkey for when you want to use it. Actually gets even cooler. So now I'm going to click into Slack. You can see over here on style, this is really interesting. So you can see here on work messages, you do formal, casual, or excited. So let's literally use the examples that they have here. So first I'm going to go formal. And this will know without, this is off to the side. It's not something you have to have up on the UI. But when you're in Slack and you're using Whisper, if you're on formal, it will do it. So I could say, hey, Justin, if you're free, let's chat about the great results for the podcast. I heard we have over 1,000 subscribers now.
Fun fact, that's a real stat. So thanks for everybody sharing.
Thanks to y'all. And now let's be excited, Matt. This is more real, Matt. Honestly, everyone would know that I'm using Whisperflow if it wasn't on Excited. You know that from working with me back in the day. I'm big on emojis, so Excited Matt is more accurate. Hey, Justin, if you're free, let's chat about the great podcast results. I heard we have over 1,000 subscribers.
Look at that exclamation point.
Boom. And do you guys see how it did the indentation, all that kind of stuff? Little subtle nuance that is actually like really important though. Just take a look. You can see if you hover over these, you can see what the difference is. It's highlighting that, hey, comma, if you're free, comma, let's chat about the great results. This is that kind of stuff I did horrible on in school. I was like, why do you have to have all that many commas? But this is proper English. Now, proper English sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable at work. So here just has one comma and we're moving forward. Now, what's also cool is you can have this for email, right? So let's pop open an email. Let's do this over here.
And as Matt's doing this, I think for those listening, not on YouTube, the power here is that you can actually change your default formatting and communication style by channel, by surface. You can have texts respond differently to emails, respond differently to Slack, which actually is much more like how we actually communicate with the world than, you know, having one style of dictation for everything that gets half the stuff you say wrong, aka your Siri experience today.
Very, very good point. Thank you for clarifying that for people. So here in email, same thing, everyone. You can pick from these three options, right? So the formal, I might say, hey, Justin, thanks for the meeting today. As we agreed, the next steps are 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Great to talk to you. Sincerely, Matt. You see how quick that is? Imagine how fast and easily you can move. And for those who are listening, wrote everything I said. It formatted it nicely. It has indentation and it has all the right punctuation exactly where you would want it. So this tool is incredibly useful for getting things done and really working in a different way. I mean, like we're so accustomed to typing as a society, but it makes no sense to type if you have this.
No, totally. The thing that I was blown away by with that email example too is as soon as you let go of control, everything you said just immediately popped into the screen. The experience that I have had with dictation tools is you say something, and I'm kind of referring specifically to my iPhone because this is the place where I've maybe used it the most before. And you get the little spinning wheel when you finish saying whatever you're going to say. And there's a noticeable delay between you finishing your thought and it actually appearing on the screen. And I also find that it picks up a lot of other extraneous stuff. There's either a delay, so the first 2 words that I said didn't get picked up, and then I get frustrated and I have to hit delete and then I have to do it again, or it picks up 2 extra words than it was supposed to because there's that latency. And so aside from the formatting piece here, which I think is even if all it did well was get what I said correct and format it nicely, I mean, like easily the best piece of software of all time. But the fact that there's no noticeable latency, it's starting as soon as you hit the key, it's stopping as soon as you let it go. It's not picking up extra stuff. It's not deleting half of the things that you said. You know, with software in general, I think software that works at the speed that you work is a very, very important detail of user experience, right? I am guilty of if my website doesn't load in 0.001 seconds, I hit refresh. I'm a serial refresher. And you know, I think it's important for tech that we use today to actually respond at the speed that you work. And in my experience thus far, Whisperflow absolutely does in every instance that I've used it.
It is true. Like the benchmark for user experience, it's pretty high right now. When I'm doing agentic demos for my clients at work and, you know, I'm automating work that has traditionally been done by humans for 30 years. And it takes 1.5 seconds. You know, I'm like fidgeting in my mind. I'm like, yeah, so when this loads here, like I have to like fill the space. It's like, it took 1.5 seconds. It's not very long, but it's a meaningful detail because you want something like dictation to feel like it's an unlock to work faster and better, not slow you down. Typing is as antiquated, if you think about it, as you and I getting together in Boston and me writing down on a napkin what I want to say to you sliding it across the table and you writing back. The
Like an old
only
silent
reason-
movie.
Yeah. The only reason typing has been a thing is because it was the only way to do it. But your daughter, if she types, it'll be like kids today who buy records and they do it because it's like novelty. They're like, oh, people used to play records. So she might type and be like, oh, look at this funny old fashioned thing that I'm doing. But like, my goodness, where this is going, it's pretty amazing.
So again, I use this a lot for kind of engineering workflows. So let's just make up a fun app that we want to build right now. Like before we go into this, what do we want to build? Do we want to build like a simple website, or maybe like what do we want to do here?
I want to harken back to something that you told us that you were doing, which was training for running a mile under 5 minutes and squatting 500 pounds in the same day.
Yes.
So let's build an app that like lets you create like a training plan for such a insane endeavor.
All right, let's do it. So I'm sharing my coding environment here. And I like this. So we want to build an app that, like a fitness tracker. We probably want some calendar stuff. And so let's talk to it. So I'll say, I want to use /spec to design a plan for a fitness tracking app that must do the following. 1, have a calendar view with the ability to add details for each day of the week. 2, an overall summary powered by AI that calls Anthropic or OpenAI directly. 3, the ability to track loose calorie and water intake each day. And 4, a section dedicated to sleep and recovery quality where I can put down notes about how I feel after training. So look at this. I mean, instantaneous. It knows that this is a command. So I want to run this command to design a plan for all this stuff. It has to do the following. I'm just going to hit enter. Claude Code's going to do its thing. It's going to start to ask me some questions and actually build out the plan here. Starts to ask me clarifying questions. Again, I don't need to write anything here. We'll say, let's go AI Insights focus, start from scratch, boom, quick prototype, submit answers. And now we are generating software at the speed of me being able to speak, which I think is very cool. And so for the people at home, this can live in any coding environment. The thing that's really cool that Matt and I were talking about briefly before we started recording the podcast is it has the ability to actually tie into variables and files. So in the actual control console for this, you can define certain variables in your software development environment. It can reference files by name. You can actually point it to specific things. And now, cool, we got a spec doc. And let's add one more feature. We can say answers to your questions. The AI summary will be on demand. 2, the default analysis window should be 7 days. 3, we'll store the API key in a local environment variable. And you can run /plan on this spec with these updates. It already knew to go 1, 2, 3 because the answers to these questions. Now it's running the plan and boom, we are in business. It's updating that spec file. It's moving on to the next thing. And again, all I had to do was speak, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm going to just let this chug in the background while we're talking on this podcast.
I got to say this, David Copperfield has nothing on Claude Code. I mean, this is real magic over here. This is amazing. Okay, cool. So what I want to show you all now is how it's aware in a really good way. So pretend I want to send a message to Justin about, I don't know, getting together for coffee. And then I say one time and then I realize, oh shoot, actually I have a meeting at that time. So I need to suggest a different time. I want you to watch what happens here. Hey, Justin, really excited to meet up for coffee. What do you think about doing that at maybe 4:30? Actually, 5:30. Look at that. For those who are listening at home, it didn't say, wait, actually, and have the 4:30 and all that. It just says, really excited to meet up for coffee. What do you think about doing that at maybe 5:30? It understood that when I said, wait, actually, I don't mean to do that, that's actually what I meant. And the message is clean and quick. So all the things about dictation being overly literal and listening to you without reasoning through what you were saying, that's no longer an issue. Another thing I want to highlight for you guys is this. You see where it says snippets over here? You can also add into this things that you do all the time. So as a salesperson, I need to send my calendar link all the time. So you can see I added my HubSpot scheduler, which is right here. And I named it my scheduler. So if I want to add a new one, I just name it. And whatever I name it is what I'm going to say when I'm dictating. And it's going to know to pull in that thing. Or I can also do my LinkedIn. So I might say, hey, Justin, I really want to interview for that job. Feel free to book time with me using my scheduler. Also, if you want to learn more about my job experience, here's my LinkedIn. Boom.
Well, put the links right in there. That's crazy.
Yeah. So for those who are listening at home, it didn't say the words my LinkedIn. It actually linked to my personal LinkedIn because I set it up as a snippet. Anything that you're saying and doing all the time, add it as a snippet, and life is going to get so much easier. So, Justin, you have changed my life by telling me about this product. And I feel like I'm in the future. I mean, I might as well just be on a spaceship at this point.
Hey, honestly. And listen, some of you may be wondering, okay, this is mostly humans. It's a podcast about AI tools and all this stuff. They've talked about Claude and ChatGPT and all this, but why are we talking about a dictation software on this podcast? And I think if we take one big step back, we talked about how previous dictation tools were really bad. We've talked about how previous generation chatbots were really bad for their own reasons. The reason that Whisperflow is so powerful is because it's using the latest dictation technology, but it's also combining it with AI infrastructure. So the AI tooling is what allows it to understand. Again, we've talked about how these large language models are good about predicting language and actually finding patterns. And so that is why it's able to format what you're saying properly, why it's able to understand these snippets, why it's able to actually reference things by their real variable names if you're in a coding environment. And so it's layering on these AI tools, which AI voice processing has gotten substantially better, and it's making it this really native, fast experience. But because of developments in AI tech, it has allowed things like Whisperflow now to actually make dictation useful and helpful instead of being something that you try, get frustrated, and then stop using.
Do you want to know why I think they named it Whisper?
I would love to know why, actually.
Okay, I'm about to share my screen once more. And for my father, you know who you are, who's listening to this pod, he doesn't miss an episode. He hates when people whisper. So I apologize in advance. He's the nicest guy that I've ever met. He's a true gentleman. But if you whisper on like a TV commercial or something, he's like, I got to turn this off. It's just his pet peeve. So I apologize in advance. But I'm going to show you something here. We're not messing with the editing whatsoever. Hey, Justin, I really think we should take that meeting and have that conversation. So I don't know if you saw what I did there, Justin, but I really whispered very, very low. And I think what they have addressed with this product is the fact that people feel weird talking to their computer if you're sitting in an office. So I'd love to find out the truth about that, but I have a feeling that it's so good at capturing when you're whispering. I've played with this a bunch that if I was not working from home, as I am most days, I think I could speak very low at my computer with people right next to me and not feel uncomfortable about it, which I think would stop a lot of people. It's just not the case with this product.
Yeah, great point. You can talk in a whisper, or I think most importantly, you can talk at your normal volume, your normal cadence. You can speak how you would normally speak to another person, and you don't have to do that robotic, slow dictation. Hey Siri, no, I meant this song, not that song. Please don't play that. I don't know how that's still on my playlist. These type of things that we've dealt with in the past don't happen anymore. I'd also like to point out that my app right now is currently doing a test. So the core infrastructure for part 1 is built, and maybe next episode will actually show this fitness app in action. But again, I was able to talk to my computer, and it is writing code for me to the specifications that I gave it. And the fact that we live in a world where I can describe a product that I want, I can minimize the screen, and it is building a fitness tracking app in the background while I'm talking to my good friend Matt and all of you is pretty mind-blowing to me.
It is. I will leave us with one last little tidbit with this tool that I absolutely love. So I don't know about y'all, but when I'm doing anything administrative at all, I can't work without music on. So sorry to everyone I work with throughout my entire career, especially when I was in an office. These headphones are always in. If I'm typing an email, typing a Slack, whatever, I just need to have music on. One of my favorites of all time, you guys are going to see my screen here, for work is a band called L1011. also shared with me by my dad, who's come up twice on this podcast, shared these guys with me back in 2005. They don't have any lyrics in their music. So it's really easy to listen to and non-distracting. I'm going to press play. So it's playing right now. You guys can see Spotify is playing. I noticed that Whisper has this epic setting that if you toggle it on, it will stop the music from playing while you're holding down your hotkey, let you do the dictation, and let the music come right back when you're done. So watch this. I'm holding it now. I'm holding it, and it's no longer playing the music. And now the music's playing again. So if you were like me, when I first got started with this, I was like, it's kind of weird. Like if the music's playing, like, do I have to press pause all the time? Nope. They even thought of that.
It is crazy. I mean, listen, point being, we are not sponsored by this product at all. This is just something that Matt and I both genuinely love using, that I was kind of blown away by when I found out that engineers at my company were talking to their computer and building software. And I was like, whoa, I need to see what this is. Every day I use it, I feel like I discover a new feature that they've thought of that I didn't know existed. And the other thing that I will say, this is a general age of AI software development statement. And I see this from the Claude Code team, and I see it from a lot of these other companies, including Whisperflow. Companies are shipping features so fast these days, and they're leveraging these AI tools in their engineering teams to actually build things very, very quickly. And there's a lot of benefits of AI, and just being able to actually dictate and use something like Whisperflow is a huge benefit of AI tooling that makes our lives better. But one of the things that I have been most excited about in general is the speed at which smart people are shipping really cool products. And that is directly possible because of the advances in AI and all of these tools that we now have access to. And I say that to say this. We've said it before, but if you have a really good idea, now you can open up Claude Code or even Claude Cowork, which we talked about recently. You can speak into your microphone without having to type anything. And you, being a person with a very good idea, being able to clearly describe what you want, you can now build the exact software application that you wish existed in the Apple Store or on your computer. And it also allows people who are building products for others to add features and listen to what people want and implement those features really fast. And just being somebody in engineering at this point in time is very exciting. And I think it's a very cool time to be alive now that these type of things are possible.
Yeah. There's a friend of the pod, no names, because I don't know if he wants us to say his name, who DM'd me and you on a group chat yesterday and sent us a really, really cool piece of software that he created. And he's in sales, as I have been my whole career. And we were like, wow, that's awesome. Good for you. Give it a go. And, 5-6 years ago, it would have been like, let me save up a bunch of money, convince my significant other that this is okay, and spend a bunch of money with someone I don't know, potentially overseas, to get them to create a prototype that may or may not be the way I want it, just to even see if there's product market fit. I mean, we can launch prototypes of businesses and share and features. I mean, I'm surprised that we don't hear that more enterprise software companies aren't vibe coding new features and just very earnestly saying to their customers, this is fake, but I want to show it to you. Instead of describing it to you or showing you a Figma or a slide, like I built a prototype. It's not actually connected to a database, but if something did something like this, would you like it? Like I'm sure we'll be seeing that very soon. So it really is an exciting time, but everybody, you can move a lot faster and probably get more done than you think you can get done, because when you're speaking what you want the machine to do versus typing what you want the machine to do, you'll just get less fatigue. Like you'll get more emails out if you're in sales. You'll do more outbounding if you're in sales. If you're in customer success, you're going to write better follow-up emails. If you're creating products and you're an engineer or you're doing integrations, you're going to build more integrations because there's just no fatigue. There's no typing fatigue. I do agree with you though. Like we have to learn how to think faster because we are used to letting typing get our thoughts out. Mm-hmm. But this is an awesome product. I think everybody should give it a shot. And by the way, I haven't paid for it. I'm using the free version. I'm getting insane value.
And there's a lot of other really cool features. If you do want to pay for it, I think it's worth supporting the team. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. I mean, the last point I'll make on this is really just to double tap on two things. One, the snippets feature. Like how many times do you copy paste links to the same things across different systems? Like,
can't stand it.
It's right. Like the number of times you probably copy paste the link to your calendar, if you're an artist or whatever, and you have a portfolio website, how many times are you sending that out to people and having to copy paste or, some random other thing, right? The ability to just set that as a snippet and share it instantly by talking about it, massive, right? The other thing, and this is a subtle one, but we talk about AI tools and prompting, and all you have to do is type into the box, right? I think there is a degree of separation that makes people hesitant to prompt because they're trying to take their thought, convert it into typing into the box in such a way that the AI tools know what they're saying. And there's this friction there, right? Of taking what's in your brain and actually turning it into a quote unquote prompt. Well, if you don't have to worry about the formatting and you don't have to worry about making it look nice, and you can literally hold down a key and describe exactly what you want to do. And if you make a mistake, say, oh, wait, actually, no, that last part, do this instead. And it knows to just delete that last part like Matt showed and put in what you actually said. I think it gets rid of that additional friction of using AI tools, as silly as it sounds, because you can just literally get what's in your brain out on the page and then let ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool you're using do its thing. And I think it just makes it that much easier to actually use these tools.
So true. Friction gets in the way of everything with people in every part of life. We have removed a step with this. They're like, oh, I wonder if the AI could do this if I said that, but like it's a lot to type, so you don't. And you never find out that it actually would do that thing. But it takes you no time at all to say it. So I think this is awesome. I'd love to hear in the comments from people if you download this and try it, which I'm imagining probably more than half of our listeners will. What are some use cases that Justin and I don't even know about? Like, let's all share the value of this. And maybe with the Whisper team themselves will hear about this podcast and give themselves a pat on the back because they built a heck of a product and we think it's really useful.
Yeah, try it out. Let us know. And as always, thank you for everybody who's been supporting and sharing the pod. Continue to share it with people and friends of yours who maybe you think are sick of typing, because I think we can all relate to being sick of typing. And, maybe point them to the YouTube version of this episode. Although for those of you listening at home, if you haven't watched us on YouTube yet, this might be the episode that helps bridge that gap so you can actually see how pretty what Matt was saying looked on the screen. But like, subscribe, share, and as always, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.